recording. Sorry. We're going to repeat that instantly because I wasn't recording. So I said, hey, thanks for watching some Doctor Who. And then you said,
I think I'm probably just going to have to start watching it again because I need to know what happens at least. At least I need to know the second part of Spyfall. Freaking, I need to know what the heck is up.
And there
hanging around this town.
And also, I love her.
Oh, 13? The 13th Doctor?
I love her.
Well, ain't no use me hanging around the town. Ain't no use.
Incredible. What a good way to start.
Wow.
But first, Nicole, I want to know what your history with Doctor Who is.
So I got introduced to it because, so my grandparents, when they found out that the new series was coming back with
Christopher
Eccleston, they're like, oh, we're gonna watch it because my grandma loved watching it as a kid, and so my papa has a habit of just like downloading things, and he'll just download and burn DVDs for family members and be like, here, watch this TV show. So we got a couple of DVD copies of Doctor Who when it was first coming out, and so I watched it with my parents, and I loved it, and it was super fun. So Christopher Eccleston, and I watched through Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, and then I watched, I think, all of Matt Smith, but I was fallen off the train by that point because things were starting to get a little bit convoluted.
Sure. So, like, did you see much of Matt Smith with Clara?
Yeah, I don't remember it, to be honest. But I remember the Dalek episode with her.
Right. Okay.
Like that's the first time we meet her, right?
Yeah. With Oswin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I like. So I remember bits and pieces. I had to after I finished watching the season 9 episode with her in it, I was like, I need to go back and just remind myself what the heck's been happening. Because it's also like the end, it's the final episode of the season. So I was like, I need to just know what happened this season. And I haven't been following any of that. I I fell off the train near the end of Matt Smith era. So like sometime with Matt Smith and Clara. And then I've been I'd see little bits and bobs here and there.
Phenomenal. And then, so what I did to you is I gave you an episode of Jodie Whittaker and an episode at the end of Clara's arc. So this is new territory. So
I didn't know anything that was happening.
For sure. Which one do you want to talk about first?
We may as well go in chronological order.
So in the order that they aired?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about Hare-Brained, which is Series 9, Episode 12, first aired December 5th, 2015, written by Stephen Moffat, directed by Rachel Talalay, who is very good, a very good director. I'm just going to briefly go through a synopsis and try not to make it too long because they have been going a little bit long in the previous ones of these that I've done. And feel free to chime in whenever you want because there's a lot of stuff that happens in this episode.
Yeah, huh?
That is a bit convoluted if you are not familiar with what.
I watched that episode, went, and then I went on Wikipedia and read through everything about Clara on Wikipedia, everything about me on Wikipedia, who I'd never met.
Yeah.
But I was like, Maisie Williams, we love her, doing the most.
And she looks great in this episode also.
Oh, phenomenal. Yeah. I love her.
Yeah, me is very good. Okay, so in the previously on, Clara has died and the Doctor has punched through a big wall of crystal and is now on Gallifrey. Cool. Then we're in the episode. The Doctor is in a diner in Nevada. The Doctor and Clara, I guess, but he doesn't recognize her or something. They talk about some cryptic stuff and he starts playing some music on his electric guitar, which is...
And I'm pretty sure that Peter Capaldi actually plays guitar, right?
Oh, he totally does. Yeah.
His son is Louis Capaldi, right?
Yeah.
Am I not?
I don't know if he's his son or nephew or something.
They're
but yeah,
related,
they're
right?
related. Mhm.
Okay, I'm not going crazy about that.
Oh yeah, Peter Capaldi totally plays electric guitar. The 12th Doctor, sort of throughout his run, just occasionally busts out an electric guitar,
I
and
love that for
yeah,
him.
it's phenomenal.
Maybe I'll have to go watch that just to see Capaldi shred on the guitar.
I would recommend. Anyways, he starts playing this song, which you may not have clocked, but it is Clara's theme. It is.
Oh.
Yeah, it is her theme. So yeah, it's like a wild. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about this a whole lot because I said I would try to make this short, but it's like the music is diegetic all of a sudden, rather than just being like incidental music, which is pretty cool.
That's very neat.
Then he starts telling this version of Clara in the diner a story about Clara. Flashback. He's on Gallifrey. Everyone is rushing around being like, oh no, the bells are ringing and the doctor is back and the president is very upset. And then the doctor is in a hut in the desert and an old woman recognizes him. And he sits down to a bowl of soup and a whole bunch of people are crowding around him.
Yep.
And then
then there's just a big plane with the
big
guns.
plane with a big gun. And he draws a line in the sand and then everybody claps.
Yeah, I did not get that other than art. Oh, he's just drawing a literal line in the sand.
He's just doing some badass shit while he finishes his soup. Then after, several iterations, finally the Lord President of Gallifrey shows up and he tries to shoot the doctor, but they all miss because they all respect him because he's a war hero. And then the doctor calls a bunch of planes and the president has to leave, which is...
Bye-bye, president.
Goodbye, the doctor tries to figure out why Gallifrey is so afraid. They're very afraid of the hybrid, which, this is the end of the series. It's a whole big, mystery that they keep trying to, drop throughout the series and also before, I think, at some point. Anyways, the hybrid. It's got the Time Lords all upset. The doctor gets some technology by which he can extract Clara immediately before she dies. And he does that, and then he breaks her out of, they were just going to be there for a minute, but then he runs away with her, shoots the general, who regenerates into a full face of makeup, which is incredible.
A lady.
Regenerates into a lady, which is good, and, it's a fun little thing of hey, we can do this, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I do want to highlight again, she regenerates into a full face of makeup, which is very good for me.
Yeah, that is very true. Makeup just comes with the face.
Yeah. And she's got so much eyeshadow. Anyways, it's whatever. I've made my point.
I didn't think about it too much. I went, all right, queen, go off.
True. He also grabs a neural block, which when Clara in the diner asks him what that is, he goes, don't worry about it, which is always good.
Gotta love.
Then they go down to the cloisters, which is just kind of a big, scary place that the doctor describes as a big computer made of ghosts guarded by more ghosts. And that's fun. They hang out there, try to find the secret way out. Eventually, Clara learns that the doctor spent 4.5 billion years trying to save her, which is sweet.
It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of dang time. Also, this is not the point of this particular exercise of getting y'all to watch random episodes, but boy, howdy, Nicole. The episode immediately before this, Heaven Sent, which is where he's punching the crystal and this the 4.5 billion years, is one of the best episodes. So if you just want to kind of go a little bit back, that's a good one. Anyways, that's not the point. Clara distracts them, the doctor escapes, grabs a TARDIS, they go to the end of the universe. Me is there previously known as a shielder, played by Maisie Williams. She's immortal. They do
I
some
got really
philosophy.
confused because her name was Me, and I was like, wait a minute.
You thought
Is
it was
this just another regeneration of the Doctor in the future?
Right.
Is this
Right.
what this is? That's because I hadn't read anything, so I was like, oh shit, Me becomes it's Maisie Williams? Okay. And then I was like, oh, no. And then I read up on it and I was like, oh, no, okay, never mind, this is a different person.
Her name is just Me, and they keep making jokes about that.
I love that.
Yeah, a very fun character, and again, Maisie Williams, great.
Immaculate.
They do some philosophy. Me has a full ass chess set just like set up,
They never play.
which they never play. They talk about the hybrid and the Doctor's plan, which is basically to wipe Clara's memory. And I literally just finished watching the episode like 20 minutes ago, and I cannot remember why he has to wipe her memory.
Because together the two of them are the hybrid.
Right.
And so when they're both together and they both remember each other, then they're too dangerous and too reckless.
Exactly. Yeah, cool.
That's what I remember. I watched it 2 nights ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, he goes back inside. Clara's heard the whole thing. They say a very sad goodbye, but then they're not entirely sure whether they are going to say goodbye. And it's like a 50-50 of whether the neural block is going to make her lose her memory or him lose his memory. They press the button, the Doctor loses his memory. And then flash forward to Nevada, and he stumbles upon this diner, and flash forward to the end of him telling the story to Clara. And he starts playing his guitar again. Clara goes into the back. The diner is a TARDIS. Me and Clara fly off to have beautiful adventures that we never ever see. And
hey, I would watch that.
Like, honestly. So
Can you give me the two of them?
So
I'll watch it. And I've seen Me for all of one episode, and I love her.
so Big Finish is a company that does audio dramas in the Doctor Who universe, like including past Doctors and past companions and stuff. And also they have done like whole series with like side characters, like River Song and stuff like that. Like, I do not fully know why, but I'm sure that eventually, I do not know why they haven't yet, but I'm sure that they will eventually have like the adventures of Me and Clara. Because it's so good. It's so good. Anyhow, and then the Doctor's TARDIS is there, and it's covered in flowers, and it's very pretty. And he goes in, and he has a new jacket and a new sonic screwdriver, and he flies off and goes and does adventures. And that's Hell Bent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
What'd you think?
I think I was just a little confused. more than anything else, I think I was just feeling a bit confused. I thought there was a nice moment like when they were in the cloisters and all the old kind of like monsters. The Dalek was there, the Weeping Angels were there, the Cybermen were there, and I thought that was an interesting kind of send off.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably send off because it was the end of the season. I don't know. Are they coming back?
You got to pull out all the monsters, right? You got to kind of do them all.
Yeah, but yeah. I don't know. I like have such mixed feelings on Stephen Moffat as a writer. Like he was honestly one of the reasons that I slipped away from.
Hey, listen, for sure.
Series. So like I was like, it's written by him. So I was like maybe a little bit biased, a little bit hesitant going in.
Totally.
But,
okay, so then I wrote down a bunch of things that I wanted to ask you what you thought of, and I crossed this one off. But since you brought it up, a lot of like criticism of Stephen Moffat has to do with him, or at least criticism by me of Stephen Moffat has to do with him like setting things up and then like not really being able to pay them off. And here I have dropped you into the literal very end of a mystery, like the hybrid thing, where they've spent a whole series at least being like, ooh, what is the hybrid?
Yeah.
Is Doctor the hybrid? Is Me the hybrid? Is whatever the hybrid? Like, what did you make of that? What did you make of the hybrid stuff?
Well, to be honest, watching it, it never felt like there was a clear answer as to who the hybrid was at the end.
And that,
this is the episode where you should know definitively who the hybrid is.
right.
And it was only really after going back and reading the Wikipedia that I was like, oh, so it is in fact Clara and the Doctor together that equal the hybrid.
Yeah.
There was never in the actual text itself, in the actual episode, where I sat there and I went, okay, I get it.
Yeah, because it's like one
because,
possibility that me throws out, but it's never like, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like perhaps, like, and I was like, okay, maybe I didn't get it because I hadn't watched the whole season. But at the same time, like, I shouldn't have to have watched the whole season. If this is the answer, I should have a clear answer. Even if I don't know the context of who the hybrid is, I should know who the hybrid is, because that's what they're trying to figure out. So it is certainly, I think, if I were to watch the whole season, then I get to that episode and that's all I get, I feel like that payoff would have been terrible. Like, there's no payoff.
Yeah. And this is, I mean, this is the issue. I haven't talked a whole lot about this in previous ones of this that I've done, but yeah, I think that the show fails more often than it succeeds when it tries to do like a big mystery like that, whether it's Stephen Moffat or anything. Like Russell T Davies did it in his era, and Chris Chibnall has done a little bit of it. And
I liked The Bad Wolf.
I don't know.
But you know what? It's been so long since I watched it that it might just be like I'm just looking at it with rose-tinted nostalgia glasses. Yeah. I was just like, oh, rose, like
definitely what sort of this experience of just watching random episodes, like disconnected from anything else, has been illustrative of, is that I think the show does very, very well when it has like a really tight, like one episode.
Some of the best episodes that I remember were written by Stephen Moffat, but they were all the one-offs.
Right.
And those are some of the best ones that stick out in my mind, even now, I'd say.
Totally.
And I don't even think he wrote. There's another one that the one with the Doctor on the they were on an alien planet. It was with Donna. Donna decides to just like have a spa day, and the Doctor ends up trapped in the bus.
Planet. Yeah, on Midnight. Yeah. Stephen Moffat did not write that one.
No, he didn't write that. But that's still to this day like a standout episode for me, and it's just a beautiful one-off.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, I'd say that probably, Doctor Who succeeds the most when they do individual episodes.
Yeah. Anyhow, I also wanted to know what you thought of all the Gallifrey stuff, because in the previous Doctor Who that you've seen, it would have been before the 50th anniversary when like Gallifrey was brought back. And so then here we're like on Gallifrey, and the Time Lords are a thing, and they've got their dumb hats and their...
Yeah, I think I watched the 50th anniversary, and I don't remember what happened.
Right.
I just know that all the Doctors were there, except for Christopher Eccleston, who was like, nah, bye. But no, I was like, I knew that the kind of Time Lords were back and around and just chilling, I guess. So I wasn't necessarily like shocked.
Right.
But I was just kind of like, we spend so long being like, they're dead. Why did you bring them back?
Yeah.
Like, what purpose do they serve other than to give the Doctor a hero complex narratively? Like from a narrative standpoint, like that's what it's doing. Like for the writers to just make the Doctor look like even more of a hero because he's this war hero and everything. So it's like, what does this do? It doesn't give him a challenge. Like he had no problems throughout that entire thing dealing with the rest of the Time Lords.
Yeah.
The only problem he had was unlocking the freaking vault to get another goddamn TARDIS.
Yeah, it's true. He just
So
shows up. And then,
tell me what the stakes were in that episode, because I still don't know.
No, I mean, I went through that whole synopsis, but the doctor kind of breaks it down of like, I needed to have all of these like bits and pieces that I could gather from Gallifrey so that I could get you back, Clara, so that we could like, go off on adventures. But like all this other stuff is just kind of around that. And yeah, it's wild. It's wild because there is so much like lore of the Time Lords and like Rassilon and the Time War and like stuff that doesn't get addressed when it's like used like this. It's just sort of like, now we're here and the Doctor is gonna breeze through everything. And anyways, cool. Yeah, I don't know. It just stuck out to me because Gallifrey.
So much of the like Doctor's identity in the early seasons was about the fact that he's like, I'm the only one of my kind left on in the universe.
Yeah.
And how do I grapple with that?
I mean, I can't fault them for like bringing Gallifrey back and making that less of an issue.
Yeah.
Because the show has to continue and it can't, just be like, I'm alone.
But I think that also, I think it's interesting if you were to actually like go through the I'm alone stages to the point, because it's a process of grief almost.
Sure.
I think it would have been interesting that, they just stay dead and you just have to negotiate and navigate that. And obviously that's not going to be the focal point for the whole thing. But I think that's, I don't know. I don't want to say that it's a cop-out because it's like still interesting to bring the Time Lords back because they have all this lore.
Yeah.
But it also sometimes feels like it's maybe just kind of like, nah, we don't want to deal with it anymore, so they're back.
Yeah. Okay, before we talk about the next one, I do just want to, I love the old woman in the hut who doesn't...
Who is she?
She has one line when it's like, you're not supposed to be here, they'll kill you. And then she reappears several times, but she never ever says anything. She just comes in and she's like indicating that there are some people outside for the Doctor. But she's just there. She's just hanging out.
Does she really only say one line?
She does.
I'm trying to go back and I'm like, I swear she would just go, Doctor.
No, she never says a thing when she calls him out again.
Wild.
She just shows up and she kind of goes.
Heard that then.
Yeah, it's very fun.
That's very funny.
Oh boy, cool. Shall we talk about Spyfall Part One?
Yes. Oh
Sweet.
My gosh.
Spyfall Part One. So Series 12, Episode 1, aired January 1st, 2020, a billion years ago. Written by Chris Chibnall, directed by Jamie Magnus Stone.
So I guess before we even talk about the episode, so this is the second season with Jodie as the Doctor with number 13.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because presumably all these companions have been with her for a whole season already.
Exactly.
That's what I assumed or inferred. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, Yaz, Graham, and Ryan. Yeah, they're not really given sort of introductions in this episode because it's just like they're all hanging out. Ryan is playing basketball. Yaz is lying to her family and her boss, and Graham is at the doctor because he had cancer and is getting a checkup, which is a bit different from the other two.
Wild. They seem to have an interesting dynamic going on between all of them, and I think that's neat and that's fun.
It is cute. I do like having a group of them together. Yeah. Anyways, synopsis. They're all hanging out, and then they all individually get abducted.
Yeah.
By...
And I love the shots of that because it's just ominous black car and men in black, and then
nothing. I do love,
and you don't even see them run away. You don't see them go forward. They just kind of know, great, this is the shit that I have to deal with today.
Except when Ryan gets abducted, his friend, who he's just hanging out with. They're like chatting. They like miss
Yeah.
each other. His friend is like, "Hey, is there a problem, guys?"
Yeah.
Which is like so real. It's like, hey, what the fuck? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
They also pick up the doctor and they drive away. And then the
And
car.
they're all in the same car, which you see all of the separate cars, and you would think that they're all in different cars.
No. They're all squished in the back.
I
the doctor and
also was like, love you, Graham, when he just stuck his head out the window and was like, worst Uber ever.
Worst Uber ever.
And I was like, I don't know who you are yet, but I like you.
Ugh, Graham is a dream. Graham is a dream. Then, yeah, the car tries to kill them. I love, in 5 seconds, die.
Yeah. Die.
Then they are at MI6, and Stephen Fry is there.
Yeah.
And the TARDIS is there, which is cool. They've been called in because spies from around the world are being killed. They don't know how, and it also like wild stuff. They're being killed in wild ways. Their DNA is being overwritten, whatever that means. Then there's a tech montage, which is fun because we're doing James Bond stuff this episode.
Yeah.
They have rocket shoes and laser shoes and tongue paralyzing gum. Just fun. And then more exposition. It's all tied to Daniel Barton, who runs a company called MORE.
That's a choice name.
It is a choice that they made certainly in writing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's called MORE, which is good. And then they need to contact an operative of MI6 who is called Horizon Watcher, except later he's called O, and he's never called Horizon Watcher ever again.
I totally forgot that they had the name Horizon Watcher. I just heard O.
Yep, for sure. C gets shot in the back of the neck. The doctor and Graham go to see O in the Australian outback, while Ryan and Yaz go to investigate Daniel Barton.
I was a little shocked. I was like, they're just going to let them do this on their own? All right, cool.
Yeah. There's a recurring bit in series 11, which is Jodie Whittaker's first series, where they talk about how they have a very flat team structure rather than like, a hierarchy. And that's good. But there's also the moment where the doctor's like, how do you guys feel about undercover work? And Yaz is like, hell yeah. And Ryan's like, no, I don't want to.
No, thank you.
Very scared. Scared lad.
Oh my God. The whole, my name's Sophie. This is Logan. He's nervous. Hi, I'm not nervous. I'm Logan. Logan. That's me, Logan.
Also,
sweet boy.
in a previous one of these, which I did with Nam, where we talked about Spyfall Part 2, I mentioned the fact that Daniel Barton calls Ryan Logan at a certain point, and I forgot that is his spy name that he uses, and I think I made a fool of myself when I talked about that, so I just need that to be on the record. Anyway, yeah. Aliens are there, and they're shiny, and they press through walls, and they manage to trap one in a box. But then Ryan and Yaz hack in after interviewing Barton, and Yaz actually like really gets into the interview, which is weird.
Yeah.
She's like grilling him on like misinformation. Which, okay.
I mean,
yeah.
What is she? What's her actual job? Isn't she like? Is she?
I mean, she's a cop. She's like a beat cop.
So she's a detective.
I mean,
she's just like a beat cop.
She's a low level. She's like on like her probationary period, so she's young and she's like new to the service. In her first episode, she's like on traffic duty. Yeah. No,
she wants to be a detective.
She does. It's good. Hey, any little bits of characterization that we can get for these characters, I'm happy for. They hack in to Daniel Barton's computer, but they forget to switch off one of the cameras, and that is bad. then Daniel Barton is working with the shiny aliens. Yaz gets abducted by the aliens and is in this place that's full of tubes.
And then she gets teleported.
Shunted into the box that they trapped the alien in the outback. Ryan runs away, but then they just bring Ryan back to Australia, and it's fine. But Yaz is shell-shocked, and that's good. It's a good moment between Yaz and Ryan.
Yeah.
And
he wants to date her sister, though?
Yeah. Like, yeah. I don't know.
But I'm very confused. But then they have this whole moment with the two of them, and I was like, writers, are you trying to write these two into a relationship? Because they've done that in the past. But
yeah.
oh,
Yeah, because he does say you should just give your sister my number. But then they are
and she's like, no. And then later he's like, I won't let that happen to you again.
Yeah, and then also later, O is trying to get with Yaz. Like,
yeah,
everyone is just like horny for Yaz, and I do not blame them. But
yeah, I was gonna say, hey, you know what? Me too.
Graham and O talk about the doctor. The doctor makes iced tea. They go outside and they hack in. Presumably iced tea. They hack in and they get some maps, and they see that it's all across the world. These aliens are popping up. A bunch of them in Greenland, which is kind of fun. The map is very silly. I think that the map is very silly. Then they go to Daniel Barton's birthday party because he was invited. They were invited, even though Daniel Barton has been like a huge dick to them, sort of constantly. And they do some sleeping, and there's a gambling montage.
Oh, the gambling montage where Graham's like, this is my grandson.
My grandson. Ugh.
Killed me. I was like, oh, that's actually really funny.
I love them so much. Those two. Boy, howdy. That's my grandson. The doctor goes out and confronts Daniel Barton. He runs away. There's a bike chase. Then,
to be fair, he had a very reasonable response of, you're crazy.
I mean, yeah. Like, she just sort of comes out of the blue and it's like, hey, I'm accusing you of a lot of things. And then... Yeah. He does then try to shoot them all. Which is fun.
A choice.
Then he's getting in a plane. They run after the plane. They jump onto the plane. The doctor is like, wait, O, you said you're bad at running, but I read your file. You're actually good at running. And O is like, that's because
you caught me.
I'm the master. And it's the master. And he reveals that he has been impersonating O all these years, and he has him in a little matchbox in his breast pocket, and he's also controlling the aliens, and there's a bomb in the cockpit, and the bomb explodes, and the doctor gets zapped into the tube place, and the master tells her that everything she thinks she knows is a lie, and he teleports away. I don't entirely know how he does that, but and then...
And they're stuck in a plane.
It's a cliffhanger. Yeah, wow. There's a lot happening here. And it's...
There were some little spooky parts,
spooky.
I will say.
Oh, spooky.
Well, just for me, like, when Yaz got sucked into the tube world, that was kind of spooky.
It is spooky, for sure, because... Yeah, I mean, I think they do a good job of, like, making the aliens, like, mysterious and sort of threatening, sort of non-specifically. And then when she's like in this weird place and there's like these, beams of light. No, it is spooky, for sure. Cause she, it's a good moment because she like gets abducted because she like wants to like stay back and like keep investigating. So she's like in too deep, and she like just goes like a little bit too far and then gets snatched. Which I
must say, I also this is a complete kind of shift, freaking love all the outfits, yo.
Oh yeah.
All the outfits, but man, 13's outfit, her regular one, wow.
It's very good. The long gray coat with the like rainbow on the chest.
Yeah, and the pants.
And the pants.
I want
and
those
the
pants.
shoes. And then also.
And then the formal version of that.
The like tuxedo.
Oh.
Thing, but it's still like a coat.
But it's still just her entire same silhouette, just in formal clothing colors.
Yeah. Oh, hey, it's excellent. It's
phenomenal.
It's excellent. And she's got a little bow tie there. What a dream.
Yeah.
I love Sacha Dhawan so much. He plays O / the master.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is the master now?
He does such a good job. And I mean, you'll see if you watch Spyfall Part 2, his master is very different from O. Like, he's very much like being like, oh, I'm so meek and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then he does the like switch right at the end, like so well, I think.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Because he just like unhinges and then like is a completely different.
Yeah.
I love the master. I like the master so much. Not everyone agrees with me on this, but I freaking love the master.
I have to go back and watch some of the old episodes of the old master.
What did you think about I mean, we already talked about this a little bit. But what did you think about the fam, the doctor and the three companions?
I think they're fun. I like it. I like that there's multiple companions. Because I think, at least in the episodes that I watched, the most that you have is like Amy and Rory at the same time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then you had that one thing where you had like all of them together with Tennant.
Yeah, but that's like a one-off.
But that was like a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they had like three consistent companions, I think is really fun and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then they get, so it means that they can do things like, okay, we're splitting the team. You go here, we're going here.
Yeah.
Which is really fun.
Yeah, you can tell sort of more like bigger stories and like the dynamics between the three of them, even because like Ryan is Graham's like step grandson, and then
wait, that's an actual line?
Yeah, he's literally
that's like a real thing.
He's actually his grandson. Yeah.
I thought that was just an ad lib. Like I thought that was just like they're in character and they don't want anyone to, because they're really chummy buddy like.
No, he's actually his grandson, and he's so proud of him for winning so good at roulette.
That's so much better.
Yeah, it's so very nice. And like Ryan and Yaz like went to school together.
Very neat.
And so there's like, you know, their relationship there. It's just good. It's just.
Oh yeah, that sounds really great.
I
also loved the quip that was like, is he just here for commentary?
Yes, I wrote that down. Yeah, that's a good like lampshading of, he is the companion of the doctor. He is here to ask questions and help the audience understand what's happening.
Yeah.
He's just here for running commentary. Is there anything more you want to talk about with Spyfall Part 1?
No, I thought it was, it just felt like really fun.
Yeah.
And like, it's also, I think, because it was the start of the season, and like it was clearly just like it feels like, and I hope that it is just like a clear, just like clean 2-part, that's it, and not the introduction to a whole sprawling mystery.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know, because the master's there, and maybe at the end of episode 2 is like the master's still out there, and it's like, oh, okay, so then they'll run into the master again later in the series. But I feel like that's not as like sprawling mystery as like, who's the hybrid, that goes on for a whole.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the only like slightly like mystery thing is the master saying right at the end, everything you think you know is a lie. And like that gets explored more later. But you know, it's not calling your shot like to the extent of like, we need to figure out who the hybrid is. It's just like, hey, some things you think you know, you don't know, which is delightfully vague.
Trust no one.
Trust no one. Yeah, it's good because we're telling a story and we're going to do some shit.
Spy theme.
Spy stuff. James Bond.
Yes. Oh, I do want to say, I fucking loved the motorcycle scene.
Nice. Yeah.
It was just good.
It's very good. And it's, what is it? The Doctor has her own motorcycle. And then it's Ryan and Graham on one motorcycle and O and Yaz on one motorcycle.
Yeah, I thought it was a little strange that O was just like, yes, hello, hi. And he's like, I'm gonna hold on to your waist.
And then later he's like, stick with me, Yaz, because I control everything. He's like trying to like take Yaz
still
out.
As the master, he's like, I want you.
It's very good. It's very good. It's very master.
The master just wants a companion.
You just want a friend. You just want a friend. Just want a friend. Okay, Nicole.
Yeah.
We started with talking about this, but watching these 2 random episodes, are you inspired to watch more Doctor Who?
Oh yeah, sure. At the very least, I just need to know what happens. I'm gonna watch Spyfall Part 2.
Good.
I have to.
Nice.
But yeah, I think I might go back and watch some older episodes. I also I'm kind of curious, and I kind of want to go back and watch like the old Eccleston and Tennant era.
Sure.
Just because it's been so long, it's been like years. So.
And that's a whole different thing as well from even these 2 that we've talked about right now.
Oh, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Cool. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Hanging around this town. Cause the women in Virginia gonna turn a damper down.